Hey everybody, this is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of these jumping books. They're so excited and so exciting that they're jumping. Playing solo jazz piano. Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 2, and you guessed it, if there's a Book 2, playing solo Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 1. So, this is the second part of an at least two-parter, I guess, where we are going to look at, we're talking about AABA tunes and composing an AABA tune. And last video, I showed you a nice way to write a chord progression for an AABA tune. In this video, we're going to take that chord progression and I'm going to show you how I would go about writing a melody so that we have something that sounds like a songbook, classic American songbook AABA form tune. So that's the game plan. And before we kind of dive into doing our own melody, I want to spend a little bit of time thinking about one of my favorite melodies, the melody to Someone to Watch Over Me. Okay? And I want to show you. So I'm going to play it in E flat for you. Okay. So a few things I want you to hear about this melody. So the first one is that it's got a bit of a range. Really just in the very first phrase, it goes all the way from an E flat to an F, more than an octave. And, I think there's a little bit of that that's like this burst of hope, this ascending feeling. Okay. Then what happens? Then there's these little short phrases, and they form a sequence. And by the way, in those short phrases, the lyrics rhyme. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he'll turn out to be. Pretty clever. So a bunch of short phrases, and then we have this big, beautiful, long phrase with a nice leap up, a leap down. Someone to watch. I won't be singing, I promise you. And then down. And by the way, that lyric, of course, it's the title of the song, Someone to Watch Over Me. It also rhymes with the first lyric. There's someone I'm longing to be. I hope that he'll turn out to be. Longing to see, be, he, someone to watch over me. And then the next A section is the same, of course. I'm a little lamb who's stuck in the wood. I hope he could always be good to someone who watch over. Sometimes we call this repeated lyric that includes the title of the tune usually as the refrain. So even though the other lyrics change in the A section, the refrain stays the same. Okay, so then we get to the bridge. And what I want you to notice about the bridge, we talked previously about the fact that the harmony really changes in the bridge. But usually the melodic phrasing changes in the bridge as well. So in the A section, we had all of these short little phrases. In the bridge, we have this very long, stretched out phrase. And then so the phrasing model really changes in the bridge, and that's going to be key as we write our bridge. And then the last A, of course, won't you tell him please to put on some speed? Oh, how I need. And then the refrain, someone to watch over me. So your takeaways here, I hope. 1, range, not too narrow. If you're a vocalist, you don't want a crazy range. You don't want 5 octaves, but you want to be able to be expressive, right? Leaps help us express. Second takeaway, sequences. And notice the sequences go with the chords. It's not just random sequences. It's going with the harmonic rhythm. So that's really noticeable. And then the other thing is differences in phrase length. It's not all 1 measure phrases. It's not all 2 measure phrases. If it's your first time writing a melody, maybe the first thing to know is do write in phrases. Don't just write 1 long phrase. That's going to guide things like the rhyme, the breathing, and then make a contrast between the phrasing of the melody the A sections, excuse me, and the phrasing of the bridge. Another great example of an AABA tune that makes a lot of that does a lot of the same things that Someone to Watch Over Me does is Yesterday by the Beatles, by Paul McCartney, really. So check it out. Very similar. It has this same kind of upward sweep, a little bit rangy, goes about an octave in range. Do you hear how it's a sequence? So short phrase, another short phrase, another short phrase in sequence rhythmically. And then the bridge has long stretched out phrases. Similar, actually, Someone to Watch Over Me and Yesterday. All right, I promise I have not thought about this beforehand, and I'm kind of regretting it now, but I'm pulling up our chord progression that we wrote together. We weren't together. This is the YouTube video. I did it all myself. But I want to play it for you one more time, and let's brainstorm a melody. Okay, so here we go. Here's a chord progression. 1, 2, ready. 3, 4. First ending. Good. Going to the bridge. Last A section. Okay, so let's continue in this tradition of Someone to Watch Over Me and Yesterday, and let's start with a sweeping upwards phrase. Now, it's worth noting that we do have kind of this sequence built into harmony of, this faster, I'll do it like this. Slow, fast, fast, slow, fast, fast, right? So I think it's probably worth doing something with that. So I'm gonna just try improvising a few upwards kind of lines, aiming for maybe one of the notes of the A half diminished. That might be a little bit too busy. I can't quite imagine a singer singing that. Don't hate it. It's a little plain with the notes that it hit. Let's see. Let's just start with that. I'm not trying to make it too complicated. I kind of like starting on a note that's outside of the key. That might be kind of a fun thing for the lyrics. It makes it feel a little bit less serious. I do like that. That's a little bit more fun than just going to the fifth. I'm writing this jazzier than I thought I would, which is totally fine. You gotta surprise yourself. Okay, so we started on a non-chord tone for that first phrase. So I definitely feel like I should do the same thing for the second phrase. So I'm probably going to look for a place that I could start that's not far away from where I ended the last phrase. I don't want to just start randomly. That's going to be really hard to sing. So I don't want to start in the same place though. This is tricky. So I kind of like that, but it does go pretty high. So I'm trying to think about a potential singer. I'm going to write what I played, and then maybe we'll edit it a little bit so that we can take care of this issue. So I like the way that it fits with the chords, the way that it kind of mirrors the first phrase. So let me play these two together. I think it's too far away from where that previous phrase ended. Let's keep workshopping. Let's see if we could do better. Maybe the key is actually to start on that E flat that we ended on. Ba-da-ba-ba. Except that leads us back to the D. What about, could it be a D sharp to an E? This is very honestly me trying to figure this out. So I like that. And we might have to call this a G minor 6 instead of a G minor 7 because we're emphasizing the 6 so much. And this is part of writing a tune, is that you might set out the harmony and then be like, well, I've got this great melodic idea and it doesn't quite fit with that harmony. Now, I don't want it to be so parallel that, it's just like the same. So let's go up instead of down. So the rhythm's the same, but the shape of the line is a little bit different. Let me play these. I think I'm happy with this now. Okay, so now I've got two shorter phrases. I think I could do two different things. I could either do like really short ones, like two short ones here, or I could do more like Someone to Watch Over Me, and I could do one really long one. But either way, we've already put in notes that we're going to be aiming for. First time through an A, second time through an F. I think I'm going to try to do the shorter phrases, because this is feeling like a sillier song with all these like little half-step things. So I think some more punchy phrases is actually going to do the job. So what I want to do is I'm going to take some variation of the bar 4 phrase, and I'm going to do it twice. Cool. I don't know if that's winning any Tonys or Grammys, but I like it well enough. So I'm gonna have to actually, because I'm anticipating, I'm trying to connect, I'm gonna have to make these first and second endings be 3 measures instead of 2, so that I can do something a little bit different. Okay, so again, nothing's set in stone here. So, I'm playing around with this theme of a half step. So you could see that, for instance, there's a half step here. There's a half step there. 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 And this idea of going down a half step sometimes and going up a half step sometimes. So I want to play these two A sections. Let's see if they work. We might have to edit them more. I hope this is interesting. If not, hey, I'm writing a tune. I'll have something to show for it. And truly, I'm changing these last two minor chords to half diminished chords because I'm using the flat fifth in the melody. So I am going to actually make that change. So these nuances, they're going to have to change as you write the tune. Okay, so we're going to the bridge, and it's not always the case that the bridge is going to have a longer melody. But when we do have A sections with shorter melodies like this, it does make sense to put longer melodies in the bridge. First things first, we forgot a chord here. I want to put a chord that's going to launch us towards that E flat minor 7. So I'm going to use the 5 of E flat minor 7. I'm not a genius, but this is just clear, easy music theory. Okay, so making a longer phrase. Let's see. I want to try to do something that relates to the A section. So maybe I'll try to do something that includes like a ton of half steps. So, I have in the back of my mind in Misty, in this measure leading into the bridge, there's big pickups, right? Because there is just a lot of empty space here. So in Misty, if you can think about the beginning of the bridge, it goes, major pickups. So I do want to add some pickups in that measure. But maybe let's figure out first at B, maybe I'll do something, playing with this idea of half steps. So do-dum, ba-da-yo-dum, do-dum. And this is going to be more of an A sus because we're tying over a D flat. D, do. And I'll use a B natural here to emphasize the half steps. Do, ba-dum, ba-dum. So, fun. And you might notice I'm also using a hemiola. I'm writing like a 3/4. Ba 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 da ba dum, right? So that does really add something to it. 1, 2, ba da do da. Yeah, I wrote that right. Am I using red? Okay. So now maybe it's a good time to come up with a pickup so I don't forget about that. That's all really bad. So I'm trying to think of a way to link this last note here with the first note here. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it. Maybe I just need to do a scale. I don't love it. That's not very good. Let's see, what else can I do? That was the best yet, so I was thinking more about those half steps. I think I'm overcomplicated. that's nice and simple. Sorry, I forgot I was doing a YouTube video for a second. And I was like, oh, let me see if I can solve this compositional problem. So this isn't that complicated, but I think it'd be nice and singable. So I'm doing little triplets. So I am accomplishing my goal of bridging the F that ends, the second ending to the C that starts the bridge. So I've got, that's an E flat. Now let's go a little higher. Oftentimes in AABA tunes, we can make some kind of a climax towards the end of the bridge. So I'm going to take that same rhythm. Da, dee, da, ya, da. Let's see if this works. I'm really going out on a limb. Shouldn't write without playing, but here we are. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit unexpected. So it kind of like is winding up, and then the bubble pops. And then I'll do a little fill in here. To get us back to our C sharp that we started with. And let's copy this down, and then I'll play the whole tune for you. This modern masterpiece written in 22 minutes. But I explained stuff first, so more like 15. I think it turned out pretty well. It's not anything super unpredictable. But, we slap some Cole Porter-esque words on it. A little tap dance number. It'll be great. Okay, here's your whole tune, AABA. Whew. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of fun to go up at the end, grand finale style. So I'm going to take those same exact two notes and I'm going to go up to E and F instead of down. It sounds pretty good. I think the place that I still don't know about yet is leading into the bridge. That's the part that I would spend more time on in a workshop. And I kind of have to wonder whether that bridge is totally as contrasting as I want it to be. I might have to play it more legato than I usually would. Usually I play kind of... But I might, in order to create a contrast... Just for fun, for anybody who's still watching, I'm going to improvise over the tune. Why not? Well, thank you. Anybody who's still watching, you are the real heroes here. Please comment with what you think the title of this tune should be. I want to hear some brilliant titles of this tune. Maybe we'll talk about writing some lyrics for it another time. Thanks for watching.